All right, let's take a look at December 7th, 2023. We finally get a big candle, and this is when it starts to break out of this consolidation finally. So what happens? You know, all throughout the night and early morning, it starts to rise above, and by the time 9 o'clock opens, it's above the 8, and it's pushing up towards the high of the previous day. And what does that look like on the 5-minute? All right, here's the white line, horizontal line that marks off the high of the previous day. So it's on its way up there. This is the 9 o'clock opening bell right here on this candle. And so we have to ask ourselves, what pattern are we waiting for? What are we looking for? We're usually looking for a breaker pattern. What might that look like? Well, a lot of times it looks like it creates a low, it creates a high, then it comes and sweeps that low on the left, and then it shoots right up and makes a relatively displaced move above the previous high, okay? And do we have a fair value gap here? Yes, we do. If we could judge this breaker perfectly in our eyesight, notice the fair value gap right here, then we would wait for it to pull back into that area and we would launch an entry. If we had caught this trade, we would be sitting on a nice move up, okay? There's once it gets to the high of the previous day, it doesn't really do much. In fact, if we were trying to catch a trade only up here, it probably would not have worked, would have failed. We would have, not gone very far, broke even, or even lost. So the important thing about this is this one day, this one move, this one chance. If we don't get this, we probably don't get anything, because even here with the double fair value gap reversal, perfectly almost, it never comes back down to that area. It never comes back down into that fair value gap area. So there's just really nothing left on the 5-minute chart. So let's take a look at what we get on the 1-minute chart. Here's that same area. We could probably mark it out. Let me zoom in real close so we can really see what we're looking at here. I like to get real close on the 1-minute chart so we can really see. Okay, so how did we mark out that breaker on the 5? I think it went like this, this, and then way up here. Okay, and that would be the area we're looking for, a fair value gap in this area. Okay, there's a little tiny fair value gap right here. You might see that right here, but it doesn't displace. Breakers have a displacement leg where it really shows that it's breaking out after it sweeps the previous low. Okay, so it'll sweep the previous low and then displace up higher. This little fair value gap would have been ignored by me. I would not even tried that one, because there was no displacement. Here, when it displaces, where do we see a fair value gap? We got one right here. There's a little teeny one there, but this is the main one, okay? And perfectly comes back to test it, okay? This is that one chance we got right here. And again, there's really not much. I guess on the 1-minute chart, we do see an opportunity here where it comes back to this fair value gap. There's actually 2 of them here. So if we were only using that little one there, we wouldn't have gotten an entry till over here where it's too choppy. Let me see what would have happened with this other one here. And see, on the 5-minute, this is just one big fair value gap. So here we go with this one coming back about, a good 50% retracement. So there's an opportunity we didn't quite understand on the 5-minute chart. Let's go back and look at that, because it just we get the fair value gap right here. Let's take a look. There's a fair value gap here. I want to mark this out, because in real time you got enough time to just think about things. This never gets tested here. And I think this is the leg where we're looking at separate fair. It just doesn't look like a trade here on the 5-minute. Okay, I can't see that as a trade. But when we zoom in on this, we can catch this trade right here. But at the same time, I might have been looking at Well, when you get, here's the thing. When you get a move up, you want it to correct at least 50%. I'd have to check and see if this was a 50% pullback here. And to try that one, I probably would have, I either would have tried this one here, or I would have waited for the one to come down, right? That one, or I would have waited for this area right here. So either one. If I tried this one, so let's say I tried it on that candle right there. This candle that's coming down puts in a pintail. Let's be realistic about this. If I was too eager and I didn't want to wait, I could try it on this pintail right here, right in the fair value gap, and put my stop underneath the candle right here. So my stop would be somewhere like right about there, and my entry would be right there. And I'm just trying to see what would have happened, what would happen in reality, not after the fact. It would have hit 1-to-1. I would have got my one. And it would hit this one, and I would have broke even. I pulled my stop back up to break even. And even if I didn't take profits up here, when it came down, I would not have lost money on that. That's how I like to do it. Now, if I broke even on that, I'd probably give this next one a try. Give it a try. Stop underneath that candle there. That would have worked out for 2-to-1 probably. Unless it came back down and stopped me out for break even. Depends on where I get in. If I get in, somewhere right here, my stop is underneath that candle down here at the bottom. And it's possible once it goes up here, I would have moved my stop to break even. I could have gotten broke even on this pullback right here. So it's not necessarily going to be profitable. It could have been, maybe not. It's as long as you don't lose money. Breaking even is the best thing in the world. You don't want to lose money. So, okay, so that's all we can see on this. But the big hit, the big home run, obviously, is the one down here. Okay, this is where we have to be ready for whatever happens, whatever price gives us, we would be ready. So on this day, we could have potentially had a really good move. All right. And I think this is the last day of this range that I was going to test. I got this one. There's one more day here before it really breaks out. We're going to test 12.8 next and see what happens. Because if this thing pulls down to this 8 moving average, 50% of this big candle here drops down below the previous day high on this day here and gives us a really good breaker, we might be able to see another nice move up. So let's check that out next. Peace.